Hello, I'm Charles the First, and welcome back to another episode of Learning Bidenism. Today we are talking about the judicial branch of the church government. This is something that I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how it works, so I decided to go over it today. Now, I'm not going to go over the history of the judicial branch in this video, because I don't want this video to be an hour long, so we're just going to go over how it currently operates in its current state. So, what is the judicial branch, you may ask? Well, the judicial branch is the court system of the Holy Church of Joe Biden. It consists of a petty, or sometimes called inferior court, and a superior court. The petty court is the council, and the superior court is run by the superior court. So, how does the petty court work? What does the petty court do? The petty court deals with minor disagreements between church members. It deals with cases of church dissension. It deals with cases of libel and slander. The petty court can also receive cases from the superior court if the superior court cannot make a decision or feels that it shouldn't make a decision and that it should be a people's concern, which is what the petty court is usually seen as. It's seen as the people's court because every single official on that court is elected by the people, whereas the superior court, they only have one. But we'll get to that later. And they can also send cases to the superior court. Cases are decided through just a normal council vote. Cases in the council are also, like, how the trial will operate is also at the discretion of the senior counselor, as is any council rules, because that's just how it works. So this is no different. So, how does the superior court work? Or what does the superior court do? Sorry. They cover cases of fraud, so like just general fraud in the Holy Church of Joe Biden, corruption, voter fraud, which is what they more often deal with, constitutional versus statutory law. So they deal with, like, is a statute constitutional? Does it follow does it break the Constitution? And they also deal with cases of if statutes don't comply with the Constitution. Well, that's just you know what I mean. They also deal with election law. So, like, if you say this ruling by the election committee infringes on my rights as stated in the Constitution, you would bring that to the Superior Court, and then they would judge that. The Superior Court consists of 2 judges that are appointed by the Pope, and 1 judge called the Diviner of the House, who's voted on each year in the January general election. The appointed judges theoretically can serve for the rest of their life, but really, once a new pope is elected, they have the ability to replace both judges, and they get to appoint someone. So old judges really serve until they get replaced. And the judge appointments, they have to be approved by the council just for a majority vote. And generally, these appointments are final. The Pope cannot, like, appoint a second person to a position they've already appointed. Once they appoint someone, they're going to serve in that position for the rest of that Pope's term, or until they resign. So, here's more about the Superior Court. So, the Diviner serves as the people's voice on the Superior Court. They can send the cases of the Superior Court to the council at their discretion, so at any time during a trial, if the diviner feels that it is not their place to make the decision, or the Superior Court's place, not their specific place to make the decision, they can send it to the council. Diviner can petition to remove a judge. So later on you'll see that I say that judges cannot be removed. Well, they can be removed through a diviner petition. But the actual process behind this is not really defined. So who knows how this would work, because no one's ever done it before. The judge or the diviner may also not hold a political affiliation, and the diviner cannot knowingly lie. The judges have similar rules. they vote on decisions in a case with the diviner. So a superior court case is similar to the council, except instead of 7 people, it's just 3, and they vote on how a case will be decided. They argue it amongst themselves. They also may not hold political affiliation, theoretically. They also may never knowingly lie. Back to more superior court. So how do cases work? The superior court cannot go out and find a case. They cannot take on just anything they want. The cases have to be brought to them. So a member of the church must go to the superior court and submit a case to them. And then the judges or the diviner must decide that they want that or want to do that case. So 2 of them have to say, yes, we should try this case. Cases are settled, as I said, by a vote within the court. A majority opinion is required. Oftentimes, it will always be a majority. There's 3. Technically, they can say no decision, and it could tie. It's usually thrown out, though. Yeah, see? Throw it out. Technically, also, all 3 of them could abstain. Which would be very strange. They could do it. Also, they have to try them in what they see as a timely and orderly fashion, though what that actually means isn't really defined. And if a case, well, besides this, but like, besides the 2 weeks, like they could take a week and 6 days, and that's still timely and orderly. Like, you may say, well, that was forever, but that's still timely and orderly. And even still, if they don't try it, there's no repercussions for them. It's just thrown out. Because if it's on the table, that doesn't necessarily mean that they've actually decided to take it. So precedent is another important thing. When they make a decision, that decision is recorded, and then that decision is used to make future decisions. So, I know we spoke about this earlier, but can judges be removed from office? Well, not in the traditional sense. They're not elected officials, so they cannot be removed through a recall election. Judges historically can only be removed through a new pope being elected and appointing someone to the position. Because really, we don't know how a diviner petition to remove a judge would actually work, because no one's ever done it before, and the Constitution just mentions it in passing. So who knows? Someone would actually have to bring that up to the Superior Court, and they would have to decide that for themselves. Diviner of the House is an elected official, so they can be removed through a recall. Judges are generally expected to resign if a misconduct has been made public, but they're not required to. Judges are also meant to be apolitical, so the reason why they aren't subject to recalls is because oftentimes recalls can be used for political purposes, and judges are meant to be outside the political process. So by making them immune to that, they are more free to make their decisions in terms of the Constitution rather than in terms of political pressures. And that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to them and answer them. And if you have any suggestions for other videos, also leave it in the comments and we'll get to it.